We are in the business of putting ourselves out of business.
We just need your time. We'll train you. We'll give you everything you need to be a volunteer firefighter.
Become a fireman, it's in your blood.
Count 3G now to what?
6110,
Hello and welcome to In the Line of Fire. I'm Reed Yaden. For the next 30 minutes, learn about the work the Jefferson County Fire Service does in your community every day. In this show, you'll meet the newest recruits for the fire service. Plus, learn how teenagers as young as 14 can get a start on a fire career. And firefighting isn't just on land. This is one of the most expensive fire trucks you'll find. We're spotlighting Camp Taylor for this In the Line of Fire show. Located in the center of Jefferson County, this fire district includes many industrial and office buildings. The district also has a very interesting family story. You'll meet the chief and you'll learn that story coming up. But first, dozens of nights, weekends, and lots of pain and hard work. Jefferson County just graduated its newest recruit class.
From the Worthington Fire Department, Tommy Duncan.
It's a proud moment after countless hours of training. 23 men and women are ready to join the ranks, graduating from Jefferson County's recruit class. The group spent nearly 200 hours learning the basics from instructors like Captain Steve Krebs.
They were able to experience live fire training, a couple different instances of that. Ventilation work, which is cutting holes in roofs and cutting through windows and that type of thing. Forced entry work, breaking doors and cutting through glass and that type of stuff. They laid a lot of hose. They played with a whole lot of water. They got all wet, they got hot, tired, and they kept going.
The recruit class lasted 7 months. It started just after September 11th of last year, an event that made the decision to become a firefighter an easy one for many.
I got a lot of emotions inside of me. I wanted to be able to find a way to give back to the community, just a little bit of what it has given me.
Belden is one of 2 females in the class, and she hopes to one day become a career firefighter. Many of those graduating will be volunteers, the lifeline of many fire departments.
The ability to work with people that you don't run across every day, that you put aside every difference you have and you work together to do a job, and you now have the skills too, or at least the potential to have those skills and to be a part of a team.
This countywide class started 5 years ago. 7 of the 21 departments had recruits in this class.
This shows the cooperation between all of the county departments. As it goes farther and the more we get into it, I'm sure that we'll find out that the ability for the groups of individuals to work together, and that's kind of the direction that we're going to go.
The class is meant to open the eyes of the new recruits, give them tools, training, and a real-life example of the commitment a firefighter must make.
I think the hardest part was making it part of your life. It certainly became a bigger part of your life than just the trainings that are on the schedule. It became something that you thought about all the time and something that you kept trying to get better at, and you were searching for approval from your training coordinators and trying to learn skills as fast as you could so that you could start participating and not just be a student.
It felt great after almost 9 months of this training on and off, and the commitments from the families, and to actually receive that certificate and see that I was able to accomplish something, at my age, at my size. It was wonderful.
The recruit class is just the start. The graduates keep training with their respective departments. Now, another recruit class is already underway. It includes 47 men and women, and it is the largest class to date. So what does it take to be a volunteer? Well, you must be 18, have a valid driver's license, be a resident of Jefferson County, in good physical condition, and willing to donate at least 4 hours weekly for training and responses. Now, for more information, you can contact the Jefferson County Fire Service at 574-5646 or visit the website at www.jeffcofire.com. There's also an effort to expose more teenagers to firefighting. This department, Camp Taylor, is part of a partnership with the Boy Scouts of America. The idea is to let young men and women explore opportunities like firefighting.
You always want to make sure you got your Nomex and everything tucked in, okay? And your collar out for protection.
It's training night at Camp Taylor Fire Department. The ones learning about apparatus and gear on this night are teenagers.
People have to get in because it's so cold outside.
The teens are all part of the Boy Scouts Explorers program, a course designed for young men and women 14 to 21 years old. The idea is to build character and leadership, expose young people like Ashley Woosley to future careers.
Most of my family is in a fire department in some type of way, and my sister got me involved with the fire department, and I thought it'd be a neat idea, and it's fun.
Camp Taylor started an Explorers program 3 years ago. The department recognized it as a great way to get new recruits.
It's tough to get volunteers because we're up against all the footballs and little leagues and lab areas and hospitals and everyone looking for volunteers. And the fire service has really suffered their numbers also in volunteerism. And this has been a great tool because these kiddos are in school and they're willing to learn and their minds are just great.
This is a youth-run program. So basically you have your advisors who are advising them, and then the youth run the program. They elect officers, so they're gaining leadership skills, character education. They're getting the hands-on experience to see what it's kind of like in the real world of firefighting, and in different fields. We have other fields also that we do.
Tonight, the education is about putting out a car fire. The Explorers work alongside firefighters in specially marked helmets. And although tonight is just for training, don't be fooled. Most of the Explorers go along for the real thing, too.
These children are trained in first responder level. They can do vital signs on my firefighters in a area where we're doing a rehab. They can refill the air bottles for the firefighters because they've been trained to this level.
The fire is out in a matter of minutes. A routine call for a firefighter, but not for an explorer.
I was really amazed.
The Explorers program works for volunteer fire departments. 5 of the youngsters are on staff here. Christina Atkins is still in the program, but she's already a sergeant at Camp Taylor.
I would like to grow up and be a firefighter because I like helping people, and just like my father and my grandfather.
Several fire departments have Explorer programs, and the program includes other career fields as well. Now, the Boy Scouts work with local high schools to find potential teens. And by the way, one of the young ladies you just saw in the story is Chief Atkins' granddaughter here at Camp Taylor. To learn more about the Explorers program, contact the Lincoln Heritage Council at 361-2624. Still to come on In the Line of Fire. There are 4 volunteer fire chiefs in Jefferson County. Meet 2 of them. And this is no ordinary pleasure boat. Firefighting on the water when In the Line of Fire continues.
Each year in the United States, hundreds of lives are lost when fire breaks out in homes with no working smoke detectors. Don't let this happen to you. Install smoke detectors on every level in your home. Check alarms according to manufacturer's directions. And check batteries at least twice a year. Make sure everyone knows what your smoke detectors sound like and plan your escape. For more information on smoke detectors and home fire drills, contact your area Jefferson County Volunteer Fire Department.
Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be.
Be a hero. Volunteer. Stop by your nearest volunteer fire department or call 499-0369 for more information.
You are the wind beneath my wings.
Welcome back to In the Line of Fire. I'm Reed Yaden. We're here at Camp Taylor for this show, Joining me now is Chief Harold Atkins. Chief Atkins, I know for a fact you've been here at Camp Taylor for some time.
That's correct, sir. Joined the department in 1961 and became chief in 1965.
This district is a lot different then since you came on than it is today.
Well, it's made quite a change. There's quite a growth in our area. Primary growth has been in the industrial area. We have light and heavy industrial. We have some high-rise buildings in our area. We house the Yums Corporation office building. We have a 6-story high-rise home for the elder in our area. And we cover some 6-class cities as well.
So on any given day then you can be called on to make a fire in a heavy industrial area, high-rise, or a residential area.
That's correct.
And you also have some busy roadways in this district.
We do that, yes.
Now, tell me about dealing with a fire in one of the high-rises. I know you have a specialized piece of equipment for dealing with it.
We have a piece of equipment called the chute, and this is a, just as I said, a chute that goes outside the building. We raise it up with an area ladder up to whatever floor you need it, up to 100 feet, which will cover up to about 7 floors. And then you can put the victims into the chute and exit them from the building in a chute outside the building. And you can remove a lot of folks out this chute other than trying to move them down a stairwell in the event of a fire.
So for any high-rise in this district, you're covered then?
We certainly hope we're covered, and it's for anyone in Jefferson County and the city of Louisville.
And this is the only piece of equipment like it in the state?
That is correct. It's the only one in the state of Kentucky like it.
Now, I want to point out one other thing. Your job here as chief is volunteer, so you're not getting rich doing this.
That's correct. Yes, I'm a volunteer chief and have been since 1965 as chief and remain as of today. My board of trustees appoint the chief and the deputy chief each year.
Okay. Firefighting here at Camp Taylor is a family affair. I want to introduce you now to the chief's son, who is a deputy chief. This is Steve Atkins. Steve, did you come by this naturally? Did your dad get you interested in the fire service?
Well, it's a family thing, like you said. I was in high school and joined through high school. There were several programs out there. We had a junior fireman's program, and at age 16 we could join, and that's when we all got started.
But Chief Atkins, you literally have a family tree here at Camp Taylor.
That's correct. Steve, again, is the deputy chief. His brother, Scott, is on our fire department as a volunteer captain and works full-time for the Black Mud Fire Department as a full-time fireman. And then my son-in-law is with us as a captain on our fire department. He works full-time for Camp Taylor.
So you've got it covered, got all the bases
pretty well covered, and we're growing up with some grandchildren that's in our Explorer post. I have a granddaughter that's in the post.
Atkins and Atkins, we thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Eastwood is another department with a volunteer chief. Now, Eastwood is in the far eastern corner of Jefferson County. Chief Brent Davenport joined the department in 1970 as a truck driver.
They contacted me in 1970, said they needed some drivers, so since I was here close, I went on and joined, and my job at that time was driving. Most guys, when they join the fire department, they join as a firefighter, and then they graduate up to drivers, maybe a officer, and then assistant chief of chief. But in my case, they asked me to come on as a driver, so they taught me how to drive, had training on driving, and I drove for probably 3 or 4 years and then graduated up through the ranks. Our district is composed of approximately 45 square miles. We think that we're about the second largest district in Jefferson County. Fern Creek's the largest. I think they have around 55 square miles. When I joined in the 70s, our fire district was made up mostly of farmland. We had several working farms. We have 3 golf courses right now. We have Midland Trail, Long Run, and Valhalla. We have approximately 105 to 110 businesses that we inspect. Most of those are just small entrepreneurial businesses. We got a lot of 5-acre tracts. People like a lot of, residents like a lot of trees and shrubbery and so forth. So as we go in, it drags a lot of the trucks, red lights. We have a little problem with some of the low-hanging limbs. But it's hard to get multiple units back some of these driveways. You have to carry a lot of equipment in some cases. But we've always managed to get back there, but sometimes it's difficult. We do EMS assist with Jefferson County EMS. When they have units a little bit further off, they dispatch us, mostly the critical type incidents, heart attacks, shortness of breath, unconscious persons. those type of injuries. We run 2 stations. This station, main station, Station 1, located 16,010 Shelbyville Road. Station 2 at 15,000 block of Taylorsville Road in the Fisherville area community. We went 24-48 in July of this year. Have 3 firefighters on a shift. And in 2002, we decided we needed a 24-hour shift. And so we took bids and began construction shortly after January. And construction was completed in July. So when we remodeled primarily for dormitories. We've got 5 dorms. We've got 1 additional room that we can make into a dormitory, which would be approximately 6 dorms. And then we added a larger training room and a kitchen. I think our main challenge is keeping up with our growth of our district. You know, a few years ago, and I'm talking about just maybe 10 years ago, we only had about 1,500, 2,000 parcels of property, maybe 2,500 people. Now we've got over almost 4,000 parcels of property. We've got about 5,000 to 6,000 population. We've got some extremely large homes. So getting the firefighters, getting enough firefighters, enough equipment to provide adequate protection for those folks, and just growing with the community.
Chief Davenport says the district is going to have to decide if it needs to build a 3rd fire station in the near future. Now, one interesting thing firefighters learned when they became a 24-hour operation, they need some help in the kitchen. Chief Davenport says they're learning how to make more than just hot dogs and hamburgers. And this is the newest firefighting tool for the Harrods Creek Fire Department. 1291, as it's called, lets crews do on the water what they do on land. Harrods Creek has over 8 miles of Ohio River in its district and over 1,500 boat slips. The boat uses 2 diesel engines and a jet drive to pump water from the river at a cost of $600,000. It cost more than some fire trucks. This is the only boat like it in this region. It's already been a valuable tool for Harrods Creek. They recently did a rescue on an island in the river. This house burn is a valuable training tool for firefighters. The St. Matthews Department burned this house on Rudy Lane in late September as a training exercise. The owners wanted to rebuild, so they donated the house. Burns like this happen quite frequently. In this particular case, it was an opportunity for St. Matthews to test 3 thermal imaging cameras that help firefighters find people who may be trapped in a building. Fire departments work with air pollution control and go through numerous safety checks before they do a house burn like the one we just saw. When we return on In the Line of Fire, good safety information. How many smoke detectors do you need in your home?
It takes courage to be a volunteer firefighter. It takes commitment to be a volunteer firefighter. It takes dedication to be a volunteer firefighter. It takes teamwork to be a volunteer firefighter. Do you have what it takes? Be a hero. Volunteer.
Hello, I'm William Shatner, here to ask for your help for all firefighters, police, and EMS in Jefferson County. When you see any emergency vehicle responding to a call, pull over to the right side of the road and stop. You may be helping to save the life of someone you know, and it's the law. Please remember this simple rule. Red or blue light, pull to the right.
Since the September 11th tragedy, firefighters across the nation have been involved in helping raise money for victims of the terrorist attack. On the 1-year anniversary, local firefighters also remembered those who died or were injured.
Early light. We are here today to honor the brave heroes, the innocent victims, and the survivors of the attacks on our country of September 11th, 2001. Those whom we lost last September 11th will forever hold a cherished place in our hearts and in the history of our nation. As we mark the first anniversary of that tragic day, we remember their sacrifices, and we commit ourselves to honoring their memory by pursuing peace and justice in the world and security at home.
As a firefighter, we do our job every day, not knowing what we may face, and more importantly, not knowing if any call will be our final one. Those men and women of the New York Fire Department didn't wake up that morning hoping that day would provide them with an opportunity to demonstrate their bravery. They, like all firefighters, were not driven by the hopes of heroism, but by a commitment to service and a commitment to helping people. They died giving the service they'd been called to both live and love. By doing so, they are heroes. The community has always felt as though their firefighters were their local heroes. After the events of September 11th and the loss of over 300 of our brother firefighters, the outpouring of love and recognition has been a bit overwhelming and hard to accept at times.
The terrorists deliberately targeted thousands of innocent civilians. The terrorists thought that Americans were a soft people, that these attacks would demoralize us. They wanted to destroy our liberties and divide our country. They could not have been more wrong. Today, Americans are stronger and more united than ever before.
A special thanks to everyone who had a part in putting that program together. Preventing fires is a big part of the Fire Service's education program. Hundreds of people visited the annual Fire Safety Fair at Cox Park during National Fire Prevention Week. Parents and children got to see firefighting equipment and the special tools many departments use.
Showcase safety to the children, to adults, so we have different things for different age brackets. We have the safety house for the children. We also have the Coast Guard safety for the adults, teaching boater safety. I also have Harris Creek's new boat on the river today showing what it can do. And we just showcase what the Jefferson County Fire Service can do for the residents of Jefferson County, what we're equipped to handle and our capabilities.
One of the most popular attractions for the kids was a fire truck ride. This guy is one of the most popular firefighters around. Sparky the Fire Dog has a new look. The Fire Service recently purchased new clothes for Sparky. Years of shaking hands and walking outside took its toll on his uniform. Now, Sparky will often come along with firefighters on a visit to schools or other neighborhood events. Call your local fire department to arrange for a visit. Now that the temperature has cooled, it is especially important to think about fire safety as you light the furnace or the fireplace in your home for the first time this season. Deputy Chief Steve Atkins is back again. I want to talk a little bit about some basic safety information. What about lighting the furnace or the fireplace for the first time?
Biggest thing is before you light it, make sure you have no gas leaks. The first thing you should do automatically is get it cleaned. Get a service technician, a company to come in there and clean it, especially if you haven't done it for the whole year. Summer, we kind of let things slip, get behind, boom, here it is. First thing you do is go in the first cold night, flip the switch, you smell something burning, call the fire department. Normally just dust, we hope. But we make a lot of those. Right now with the temperature getting a little bit cooler, the run volume will go up a little bit.
Now, the most basic form of fire safety you can acquire for nothing in a good many cases in Jefferson County. Tell us about that, Steve.
It's a typical smoke detector. You're talking less than 10 bucks. If you'll call any local fire station, I'm sure whoever answers the phone will give you proper directions on where to get one. If you stop by the fire station, more than likely they'll give you one. If you come by Camp Taylor, you don't have a smoke detector, we'll ask where you live. If you live in our district, we'll graciously give you one. If you can't put it up, we'll come install it for you.
You'll come install it?
That's right. We will come install it.
Now, this is the most basic form of fire safety there is, yet you were telling me during the break that, unfortunately, so many people either don't have them or the battery is inop.
Oh, they have them. They take the battery out because it's improperly installed, and every time they cook, it goes off. So they'll go jerk the battery out of the thing because they didn't read the instructions on most of the boxes or the piece of paper that's inside the box that says where to install it. So it becomes a nuisance to them. They jerk the battery out of it, go to bed, forget about it.
One simple thing to remember too, when you change the battery, when do I change it? Just don't worry about it.
No.
Do it, change the battery when you change your clock twice a year.
Put it on your birthday, yeah.
Sure, some simple reminder.
Exactly.
So if folks call Camp Taylor, it's free.
If you live in Camp Taylor, I'll give you a free one. If not, I'll give you the directions on where you need to go, who you need to call, what fire district you're in. I'll help you in any way I can to see to it that you've got this thing.
Read the directions once you get it.
Exactly.
Steve, thank you so much for some good safety tips.
Thank you.
Here are some reminders. Install a smoke detector on every floor, including the basement and outside sleeping areas. When you change your clock, change your battery, and check the smoke alarm every month. Replace the smoke alarm every 10 years. And a smoke detector is just one safety feature. You still need an escape plan for the people in your house. I hope you'll take away some good information from this show, and a special thanks to everyone here at the Camp Taylor Fire District for showing us around. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time on In the Line of Fire.